One match, one upset, one emotional moment on center court. That was all it took for the entire business side of tennis to start paying attention. Because when a 21-year-old from Quezon City walks onto the grass at Wimbledon and knocks out a defending champion, the conversation changes instantly. This is no longer just about rankings, prize money, or a breakthrough tournament run. It becomes about market value, global attention, and a question that suddenly every major sports brand wants answered. How much is the next star worth before everyone else realizes she's already arrived? What made this story even more explosive was the timing. Alex Eala already had a relationship with Nike. She was already wearing the swoosh. But after Wimbledon, whispers began spreading through tennis media that the deal sitting quietly in the background might no longer be enough. The rumors grew louder with every headline, every highlight clip, and every emotional interview. And whether those numbers were real or not, one thing became impossible to ignore. Alex had forced herself into a category of athlete that companies can't afford to overlook. To understand why this moment felt so sudden, you have to look at where she came from. The Philippines has produced world-class athletes, but tennis was never expected to be one of its signature sports. The country is known for boxing icons, basketball obsession, and volleyball passion. Grand Slam contenders rarely emerge from that environment. Yet Alex grew up believing she could become the exception. She wasn't handed an easy path. She developed far from the traditional tennis pipelines that dominate Europe and North America. While many future stars were competing inside established systems, Alex was building her career from a place the tennis establishment rarely treated as a launching pad for greatness. That's what made her rise so unusual. Every step forward carried the feeling that she was pushing against expectations that had been in place for decades. Her first major breakthrough came as a teenager when she became the first Filipino player to win a Grand Slam junior singles title at the US Open. For most young athletes, that would have been the defining achievement of their early career. For Alex, it became the foundation for something much bigger. She kept grinding through lower-level events, qualifying draws, and long weeks on tour. She kept proving that the junior success wasn't a one-time moment. By the time the 2026 season arrived, she had already collected a WTA title and started building a reputation for challenging elite players. Then came a stunning victory over five-time Grand Slam champion Iga Swiatek earlier in the year, a result that made people inside the sport start looking at her differently. Those wins weren't accidents anymore. They were evidence. What nobody realized at the time was that the Real explosion was still coming. Before Wimbledon, Alex's endorsement portfolio was solid but still typical of a rising player. Nike provided apparel and footwear. Babolat backed her racket. Major Filipino brands including Globe Telecom, Bank of the Philippine Islands, Milo Philippines, and local beverage companies had joined her journey. It was a strong commercial base, but not yet the kind of portfolio that dominates global sports business headlines. Then Wimbledon arrived. Alex entered the tournament as the 29th seed. Dangerous? Respected? Absolutely. But she was not considered one of the true favorites. Most analysts viewed her as a talented young player still learning how to handle the biggest stages in the sport. That perception lasted until the third round. Across the net stood the defending champion, one of the most dominant players of her generation, a five-time Grand Slam winner. On paper, it was supposed to be a routine victory for the favorite. Instead, it became the match that changed everything. The opening set turned into a war. Point after point, Alex refused to back down. The tiebreak stretched the tension to its limit before she somehow escaped with the set. For many players, stealing a set from a champion is where the dream ends. The moment gets too big. The pressure arrives. But the opposite happened. Alex came out in the second set playing with a level of confidence that stunned the crowd. She attacked. She absorbed pressure. She dictated rallies. And then she closed the match 6-2. Center court erupted. What happened next was even more powerful. During the post-match interview, the magnitude of the moment finally hit her. The words became difficult to get out. Tears interrupted her answers. It was raw, unscripted, and completely genuine. That emotional reaction mattered more than most people realized. Fans didn't just see a player winning a tennis match. They saw a young woman realizing she had just accomplished something historic. They saw vulnerability, disbelief, and pride all at once. In the age of polished media training, those moments cut through. And behind the scenes, another reaction was happening. Marketing executives were watching. Sponsorship agencies were watching. Rival brands were watching. Because a result like that doesn't stay on the scoreboard. It moves into boardrooms. For Nike, the situation became particularly interesting. They were already invested in Alex. What had looked like a smart long-term development deal suddenly looked like a potentially extraordinary bargain. Every new headline increased the value of a partnership they already held. And every rival company had to confront an uncomfortable possibility. What if the next global star in women's tennis was already wearing a swoosh? The victory sent shockwaves far beyond tennis circles. International outlets that rarely covered Philippine sports suddenly featured Alex on their front pages. Social media exploded with clips of her emotional interview. Search traffic surged. New fans began learning her story. Then another historic milestone arrived. Alex became the first Filipino player in the Open era to reach the 4th round of Wimbledon. A record that had stood untouched for generations was suddenly gone. For the Philippines, it felt like a national moment. People who had never followed tennis closely were staying up late to watch her matches. The country wasn't just celebrating a win. It was celebrating representation on one of the most prestigious stages in sports. But while the public celebrated, industry insiders focused on something else entirely. They focused on what this kind of breakthrough does to a player's commercial trajectory. Comparisons to Emma Raducanu began appearing almost immediately. After Raducanu's extraordinary US Open run, her endorsement portfolio transformed overnight. The tennis business world started asking whether Alex was about to experience a similar surge. And this is where the story became complicated. As excitement grew, social media filled with claims about massive new endorsement figures. Some posts suggested enormous contract values. Others claimed secret negotiations were already complete. The numbers became bigger and bigger with each retelling. Many of those claims were unverified. Some were later debunked entirely. But the existence of the rumors revealed something important on its own. People only invent numbers around athletes when they believe a major financial breakthrough is plausible. What was confirmed was much simpler. Alex already had significant sponsors. Her Wimbledon run had dramatically increased global attention, and multiple business analysts believed larger opportunities were likely to follow. Then came the next challenge. Because fairy tales become much harder when the opponent is waiting for you in the 4th round. The celebration barely had time to settle before reality arrived with another difficult test. Standing on the other side of the net was Jasmine Paolini, one of the toughest competitors on the WTA Tour and a player who understood exactly what it takes to survive the pressure of Wimbledon. She had already proven herself on these courts, reaching the final before, and unlike many players caught up in the emotion of a breakthrough story, Paolini knew how to separate feelings from execution. For Alex, this wasn't simply another match. It was the moment that would reveal whether her magical run could become something even greater. The atmosphere felt completely different. Suddenly, every seat seemed occupied by fans who believed they were witnessing history. Television cameras followed Alex everywhere she went. Commentators who had barely mentioned her before the tournament were now breaking down every aspect of her game. Every practice session attracted larger crowds. Every interview generated headlines. The pressure had multiplied overnight, but so had the expectations. What almost nobody appreciated was how quickly life can change for an athlete after one unforgettable victory. Just days earlier, Alex had entered Wimbledon as a dangerous outsider with little to lose. Now she walked onto center court carrying the hopes of an entire nation. Millions of Filipinos believed something extraordinary was still possible, and every swing of her racket suddenly carried far more weight than a simple point on the scoreboard. The match itself reflected that pressure. From the opening games, it was obvious neither player intended to give an inch. Long rallies pushed both athletes to their physical limits. Momentum shifted constantly. Every time Paolini appeared ready to take control, Alex answered with fearless shot-making that reminded everyone why she had shocked the defending champion only days before. Then the momentum flipped again. There were moments when it looked as if Alex might seize complete control of the contest. The crowd sensed it too. Every winner brought louder cheers. Every impossible defensive shot brought people to their feet. She wasn't simply surviving against one of the world's best players. She was forcing an experienced Wimbledon finalist to earn every single point. But Grand Slam tennis has a cruel way of exposing the smallest differences. Champions understand how to manage the moments when everything hangs in the balance. They know when to stay patient, when to attack, and when to trust experience over emotion. As the match entered its decisive stages, that experience slowly began to surface. Alex fought with everything she had. She recovered from difficult moments. She refused to let the match slip away without resistance. Every game became a battle. Every break point felt enormous. Even when the momentum swung against her, she continued attacking instead of protecting herself from mistakes. That determination earned the respect of everyone watching. In the end, however, experience proved decisive. Paolini closed out the match in 3 hard-fought sets, bringing an end to one of the most memorable breakthrough runs Wimbledon had seen in years. For a few seconds, the stadium fell quiet. It wasn't the silence of disappointment alone. It was the silence that follows witnessing something special finally reach its conclusion. Alex's dream run was over. But strangely, it didn't feel like a defeat. Because somewhere during those unforgettable days in London, the conversation had completely changed. People were no longer asking whether Alex belonged among the world's best players. They were asking how far she could climb. That distinction matters. Many young players enjoy one impressive tournament before fading back into the rankings. Tennis history is full of surprising runs that never turned into lasting careers. The challenge isn't reaching the spotlight once. The challenge is proving you deserve to stay there. This is exactly why the business world remained interested even after the loss. If sponsorship excitement had been based purely on an undefeated streak, interest would have cooled immediately. Instead, respected tennis journalists, commercial analysts, and industry insiders continued discussing Alex as one of the sport's fastest rising stars. The headlines didn't disappear when Wimbledon ended. In many ways, they became even more focused. Because companies rarely invest only in results. They invest in stories. And Alex's story had suddenly become one of the most compelling narratives in international tennis. She represented more than victories. She represented history, resilience, and an entirely new audience entering the global tennis conversation. Her 4th-round finish became the best Grand Slam performance of her career. It also pushed her ranking to a new career high, moving her closer to the world's elite than ever before. Those weren't emotional opinions. They were measurable achievements that changed how tournament organizers, sponsors, broadcasters, and competitors viewed her future. Perhaps the most impressive response came from Alex herself. After such an emotional tournament, many players would have focused on the heartbreak of falling just short. Instead, she spoke with remarkable maturity. Rather than dwelling on the loss, she described the experience as one of the most valuable weeks of her career. She explained that competing deep into Wimbledon had strengthened her confidence instead of damaging it. That mindset may have been the biggest victory of all. Because champions aren't defined by avoiding defeat. They're defined by what defeat teaches them. And that's what made the speculations surrounding her future impossible to ignore. No confirmed mega contract had been announced. No official figures had been released. But history has shown that when a young player captures the world's attention on tennis' biggest stage, the commercial opportunities usually follow. Alex had already done the hardest part. She had earned belief not just from fans, but from the people making decisions behind closed boardroom doors. Whether Nike chooses to strengthen its commitment or another global brand decides to make its move, one reality is already clear. Wimbledon didn't simply change Alex Eala's ranking. It changed how the entire tennis world sees her, and that may end up being worth far more than any rumored number circulating online today.